Hello again. So, switching between animation softwares or trying to learn a new animation software has never been easy, mostly because different animation softwares tend to prioritize different features. For example, the more cell-based software such as Clip Studio or TV Paint or Krita tend to prioritize frame-by-frame animation or hand-drawn animation, something that's more closely to the traditional way of animation where you kind of just flip pages and draw. Or you could look to the rigging side, like let's say After Effects or Harmony or Moho. Harmony and Moho both has their frame by frame capabilities. However, its main selling feature is more on rigging. Same with Blender, which prioritizes 3D more than their 2D interface. Now, the main topic I want to talk about in this video is how can you adapt to other animation softwares seamlessly? Listed here are what I consider to be the essentials to animate uh, something or anything really and export it efficiently. So let me go through them one by one. These are just to bring up the tabs because in Clip Studio, usually when I work, I only have these three tabs open. This is just a personal preference. This whole video is just me trying to figure out how I can optimize uh, workflows in different programs. And you have your file operations as well. So your save file and your exports. So I like to get specific with my exports. However, right, some programs like Krita, let's say Krita, when you try to export, they kind of just give you like every single export, uh, every single export known to man, which is low-key kind of funny. But yeah, uh, having exports is good because you just want to get the MP4, you get the GIF like really fast, as well as undo and redo, which is universal throughout all the programs as well. Another thing, why does Harmony's color tab low key sucks, bro? Look, I go to Windows and look at the color. Their color picker is like abysmal, man. Like, oh, they give you like all or nothing, and there's not even an RGB color wheel like CSP does. Like, this is simple. Why can't Toon Boom have this? But yeah, anyway, that was my short rant. Next. What's next? Okay, on to the tools section. So my five main tools I would say that I use on a daily basis, or not day, well, anytime that I'm animating is my pen, eraser, eyedropper, bucket tool, or line-based fill, and lasso selection. Bucket tool I like B for bucket tool too. R is for line-based fill. So what do I mean? Lasso selection also comes with its own set of controls, which is just these standard ones. And yeah, so I can do a quick demo now. So I used my pen to draw, I use my eraser to erase. And then if I draw something that has lines, I can use my bucket tool to fill it, or I can use my line-based lasso tool to fill it as well. Right. And then if I don't like a specific chunk of it, I use my lasso select and then Control X to delete it, then D to deselect it. If I don't like the whole thing, I can use Control A and Control X and deselect. So that is, I feel like those are my hands when I animate. Like these, I cannot live without these when I animate. So that's for tools. I'll just put it here. It's for tools. These are file operations. And here are timeline controls. So this is regarding the timeline. Play and pause, of course, this is a necessity. If you look down on your keyboard, uh, programs like Clip Studio, you cannot bind the space bar, unfortunately. So the next best thing I figured out was the N key, which is the closest thing to the space bar, and I can kind of just could reach my put my thumb near it, I feel like. So that was my next best option, and I've been using it ever since. As well as select previous cell, next cell, and select previous frame, next frame. These are the meat and potatoes of controlling timeline. Of course, you could like go here and scrub it, but if you want to be efficient with animating something like a say like a bouncing ball, you kind of need to like just rush through the frames with your controls. Yeah, something like Krita. Something like a program like Krita. Yes, you can. Yes, you can move around with your cells and your frames. However, creating cells are a pain. For creating cells, which is one of it, creating a cell, usually in Clip Studio, I would click easy. But since the UI is so different, I could just click this, I'm not gonna lie. But I prefer to use F4 now, just to create. And sometimes F4 doesn't even work, so you kind of just have to click it anyways. Same with TV Paint, actually. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, anyways, duplicating cell. Clip Studio, you can't duplicate cell unless you have an auto action, but I binded it to F11, which pretty much does the job for you. A program like Toon Boom has duplicate cells as well. I'll duplicate frame, I believe it's called. And same with Moho. For Moho, it's a bit weird because since it's rigging base, you kind of need to delete the original layer. Not delete, but just create a frame by frame layer to work on instead. And then you have to create a new frame with this, and the UI has never looked so weird. Like, yeah, it's like a straight line with squares on it. It's not even protruding, it's inside the line. Like, yeah, I feel like this UI is a bit weird, but I digress. Now, onto the layer controls. This is yeah, regarding layers. So a thing about Clip Studio is it can support both timeline stack and layer stack. So what do I mean by this? So timeline stack is what I mean by a stack. First and foremost, a stack is your stack of elements that create a cell. So you got your line, then you got your shade, then you got your color, and you got your base. Standard stack. Well, you can add more to this stack if you have more details, but this is as simple as it gets. Maybe you can go even simpler and use like 3 layers, but usually you got your line, then you fill something here, and then you fill another color here, then you got your shaded color here, something, and then you clip this like that. Simple. Like that. So that's a stack. And you can either use a layer stack, which is mainly focused on making the timeline cleaner. So if I put this in an animation folder, let me make an animation folder. If I put this in an animation folder, you can see that the timeline is clean, and you can animate on it. You can animate on it with keeping the timeline clean and the layer tab stacked. And the opposite is true with timeline stack where all these elements are just on the timeline. Like this will be stacked on the timeline while the layer tab is clean instead. So Clip Studio is the only one I think that can do both of these. Harmony low-key can do both of these, but it prioritizes layer stack more. So let me just show you. Yeah, see? It prioritizes it because they low-key have like a whole tab dedicated to it called palette, and as well as oh yeah, as well as like it detects every single unique color that you can put on your canvas, which is a good thing. I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty handy feature. And yeah, you can control it there, but you can also stack your timeline kind of like this. So I would say it supports both, but it prioritizes this more. Like it's like directing you towards this kind of workflow rather than this workflow. I feel like you like in every single one of these letters you can fit a whole colored character inside of it. Yeah. So that oh yeah, for layers, I want abilities to create a layer, to delete a layer, to rename a layer. Usually sometimes it's F2 for some reason, like Blender. Blender does F2 for renaming, but I feel like most programs you can get away with just double clicking on it. Like Clip Studio can't, like when I'm pressing F2 right now, it's not renaming. But I think usually double click should work. In TV Paint, this is like an old version of TV Paint, man. But let's see Moho. Bro, where? Oh, there. Can I double click it? If I double click it, there's gonna be layer settings. I have to rename it. Okay. Sure, man. Sure. Okay. Yeah. So these are layers. Foldering. Foldering is another thing because, man, it's the same thing across all programs, but they just have different names. You know, they have like some programs they call it grouping, others they call it foldering. But yeah, my go-to is just control G, sorry, control G. Not control F. What was I smoking? Control G. Okay, lastly is to do with canvas. So you got your canvas zoom behavior. Because some of these softwares they have like, the plus zoom or minus zoom, but I'm not a fan of that. Like I would rather like zoom in my timeline with the scroll wheel itself, which I think most softwares have, but they don't promote. I don't know why. This is just a personal preference thing, albeit. But yeah, you can scroll with this. You can scroll with this. You can scroll here. Blender, okay. Blender low-key, well, you can, but like panning is hard, because it's 3D, Moho, pretty good. Clip Studio, yeah. All right, rotating the canvas. Clip Studio, you could do it like pretty easily with this, but and resetting the canvas is easy as well. Um, for Blender, I'm actually not sure. You can't really rotate it, I think. Uh, but it would be good to rotate the canvas specifically for like difficult lines when you're cleaning up, those kind of lines where you kind of need to rotate the canvas to get the right angle to make the correct stroke. It will be helpful. However, maybe I haven't spent much time with these softwares enough to know if you could rotate it. I bet you can rotate it, but most of these softwares, they usually rotate by increments, whereas Clip Studio, you could just rotate it by dragging, which I find is like more intuitive personally. But I digress. And yep, those are my main tools that I would use to kind of make myself as comfortable as possible inside another animation softwares. You could see my notes for each of them. Tab behavior, you cannot bind to open the tab, which yeah, that low-key that low-key pissed me off. You can't, because most of these for Harmony, it's set in stone. Like you can't like hide, you can't bind the key to hide like timeline tab, for example. Low-key pissed me off, but it's okay. Yeah, also the timeline the cell creation behavior is like weird across softwares as well, right? In Clip Studio, you have to create a new drawing and then draw, you know? Like you have to create a new empty cell and then you can draw on it. But then in programs like Moho and Harmony, you can just draw to create the cell itself, which is like I guess, bro. And yeah, Moho as well. Actually, no, Moho you need to create for hand drawn. You need to create, but it's more for the rigging. For rigging is a whole other story. You have to always be on the 0 frame for some reason, but okay. Blender, same thing, kind of. Yeah, you can just create a cell by drawing, and all you have to do is move on the timeline. TV Paint, yo, I'm not gonna lie, oh wait, was hold? What the hell? What the hell am I looking at, bro? There's hold done. There's different. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, sorry, I just figured out TV Paint midway this video. That's pretty cool. They give you options on how cell creation is used, but for TV Paint, cell creation is by just drawing directly on the canvas, whereas Clip Studio Paint and Krita, I believe, Krita, you need to create a blank frame and then you can draw on it. Same with Clip Studio. I guess they're twins in that regard. Um, yeah, they call flip vertical mirror view, which kind of threw me off when I was setting the keybinds. I was really weird. Krita, oh yeah, a weird thing with Krita is that the eraser is a toggle. It's not like a separate brush. So like you draw something and you have to toggle eraser mode in order to like transform your brush into an eraser or something. And then to get out of eraser mode, you have to toggle it back. It doesn't treat brushes and erasers as two separate tools, which is really weird to use for the first time. So that's why I put here a link to a GitHub, uh, a script, a Krita script, I believe, that separates the tool and allows me to like put shortcuts for it, as well as its advanced color selector, which I find actually is pretty cool. Boom. It should be in Dockers. Yeah, it's here. Advanced color selector. Dude, look at these options, bro. Yeah, these are way more intuitive than what and than whatever Toon Boom is having, bro. But okay, whatever. I do hate the term blank frame for cell because if you think about it, every frame is a goddamn blank frame, bro. So you can't be just calling it blank frame. You should just be calling it a blank cell or something, not a blank frame. Oh yeah, timeline behavior is off. You can't time slate. What do I mean by time slate? It's sort of like this. Look, in the timeline, if you look at the timeline, you'll see I have these specific timings, right? And I want if I'm doing a timeline stack, remember timeline stack is when you stack all your elements in the timeline. If I do want to do a timeline stack, I want a whole other layer of these with the same timings but empty. So I can't just copy paste. I can't just copy paste with the same layer because it will contain all the previous drawings that I had on it. I want it to be empty this time. So a time slate is a is a animation layer with all the keyframes in timed correctly, like timed to the original animation folder, but it's just empty, so you could put other elements on it. Krita, you can't do that, bro. Like you have to. I saw a video where they like their explanation to make a new time frame was to just make a new layer and create and create a blank frame for every timing. Like you had to go like you had to go through every single timing and time it. I was like, that seems really inefficient. So in Clip Studio you don't have that capability as well. However, you can make an auto action to kind of be efficient about it. But yeah, same thing with Blender. Oh man, Blender. I haven't. Okay, I'll be honest. I haven't gone through. I haven't studied in depth on the functions that Blender can provide when it comes to stuff like filling or color. But I imagine it to be pretty, um, pretty how you say useful because Blender has its own scripting side. So I bet that uh people will share a lot of their tools open source regarding 2D animation. But yeah, uh, this is my preferences for animation softwares, and this is sort of like a thing where these are just the tools I need to create, like the essential tools I need to make just simple animations. Nothing too crazy like compositing or like nothing too crazy like cameras, but I just need like a pure like still animation. And yeah, so and these are the functions that I would prioritize. Yeah, so that's about it. Thank you for sitting through this long ass presentation, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.